Welcome back to another exciting video demonstration for Microsoft Office projects. In this video demonstration, we'll be covering concepts that are discussed in PowerPoint Chapter 2. So, what we're going to be talking about is color schemes, inserting and formatting images yet again, talking about formatting backgrounds, the format painter, inserting shapes, inserting word art, and finally a little bit about printing, which we will not do, but at least you will know about it. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and put a design theme on here. So we click on design, and I don't know, let's choose this one in the middle here. And I'm going to add a slide just so you guys can see everything that happens to it. So now we have a title slide for slide number 1 and a number 2, just a title and normal list slide for slide 2. So from here, if I wanted to go ahead and change the color scheme, basically I click back on the design tab, and over on the right next to where all the themes are, you're going to see 3 options: colors, fonts, and effects. We're going to want to choose colors. These are all the built-in color schemes that you have, and there is a bunch of them. All right, you can see all the names. Yes, they have kind of weird names, but hey, you know, that's Microsoft for you. So you can choose one of these. So in other words, if I choose, I don't know, waveform, you will see how it affects it. If I choose verb, you can kind of see how everything, the colors are changing depending on which ones you have. Each one of these colors are attached to a part of the theme. All right, so I'm just gonna, let's do slipstream. All right, I'm gonna choose slipstream. So if you notice on the slide thumbnails over on the left, the color schemes have changed. The layouts have not, but the color schemes have. Now if you wanted to do your own because you're just such an individual, if you click colors and go all the way down, it says create new theme colors. You click that, and lo and behold, everything gets explained. All of these colors create your color schemes. So you have text and backgrounds, you have all these accents, and then you have the hyperlink colors. So these are the colors that make up your wonderful theme. So if you want to go ahead and play around with that, that's fine. You can create your own. If you are going to play around and create your own, I request you only do 1, maybe 2 tops, because I do not want all the themes cluttering up the computer and all that stuff. Just name it your name 1 and your name 2 or whatever if it is a custom one. And that's about it for themes. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward stuff there. Next thing we're going to talk about is inserting images, which we all know how to do. You click on your insert tab, you go to picture, and I have a bunch of pictures in here. Obviously, I'm just going to choose, let's choose the cats. Click that in there. So now we have a picture of a cat. Kind of cool. Most of you guys realize how to do this stuff, but again, nothing wrong with a little bit of a review. So then once you have the picture inserted and still selected, you click on format. You now have a bunch of different options you can do, and I'm kind of going to work from left to right here. First, you have your color corrections or your picture corrections. This is for brightness and contrast and sharpen and soften. So in other words, if I wanted a little bit darker, I would go up here and you can see how the image gets darker. If I go all the way down to the right, it gets a lot brighter. So that is brightness and contrast. Depending on what the image is and how you've taken it, you might need to do this, you might not. All right. You do have a color option there. Again, you can recolor it so it's kind of got a single color shade to it, or you can change the color tone so it makes it look a little bit different. You can do saturation so it looks like a black and white photo. That's totally up to you. The artistic effects, kind of the same type deal. You can kind of get maybe a mosaic look on it. You can get a texturizer. There's a bunch of different options there. All right, make it look like kind of a brush drawing type deal. All right, those are all the artistic effects. Then you have picture styles right in the middle. You click that down, and basically all this does is add a frame or gives it a little shape or something like that. If you want it to look like I don't know, maybe a circle or something like that. or a rectangle like that with a little beveled edge, that kind of stuff, depending on what you're looking for. Then next to the picture styles, you can put a border on it if you want, whatever color you want. You can change the thickness of that border, or you can change it to dashes if you'd like. That's where the picture border is. Picture effects are kind of cool because you can add a glow to it. You can add edges. You can put a beveled edge, kind of like I did with the artistic effects over, or excuse me, the picture styles over there. Give it a little rotation. There's some preset ones you can use, so I could do something like that if you'd like. Okay, that's where that's picture effects. And picture layout we don't really have to worry about because that has to deal with smart art, so you don't really have to worry about that. But that's basically pictures in a nutshell right there. Okay. Again, a lot of that is review for many of you, which is good. For some of you, maybe you didn't know those were there, so now you have something new to play around with. Okay, so that was image corrections, which is over where it says adjust, and picture styles, and then border and effects for the most part. Okay, and that's pictures in a nutshell. Now, next thing I want to talk about is backgrounds. A lot of you guys have put in backgrounds with your presentations, especially the favorite animal one. It's quite easy to do. Easiest way to do it is you go to a slide, you right click on a background. Make sure you don't right click on a placeholder. Make sure it is the background. Then you go to format background, and lo and behold, you have your options for formatting a background. The first option is fill. Okay, you have a solid fill, which is just one color. You have a gradient fill. If you click on that, it'll give you some options. You can have gradient is kind of like the fill effects idea. So if I go to the presets, you can have all these options. You can do your own down here. You can kind of see where it is. You have linear, radial, rectangular path, and you guys can play around with each one of those. The direction of it, the angle of it, and then where it goes. Okay, so in other words, if you want more of one color than another color, if you want to add a color stop, in other words, so there's more colors to it, you see right here it says add gradient stop. You can click that. All right. So basically that's what the gradient does. Okay. Then you have a picture or texture fill. If you want to do that, you click on that, and then you can, from there, if you want to put in a file, in other words, a picture file, click on File, or you can click on Clip Art, and you can put in a picture there. Let me put in a picture real quick. We're going to use, I don't know, we'll use the skydivers here. All right, now remember, when you put in a picture in the background and you're using a theme, in this case, my picture is in there, but you can't see it because it's covered by the theme objects, okay? So make sure that you realize what you're doing there. All right, if you wanted to put a texture on there, you can do the texture, and these are all the textures. Basically, it's an image, but looks like a material, like a paper bag or sand or denim or something like that, okay? Now, if you just want to apply to one slide, only one, at this point, let's say I wanted the skydive, I like the way this looks, I would just click close, and it would only apply to that slide. If I wanted to apply to all the slides, at this point, I would click apply to all, and it would apply to all the slides. Okay, so if I click close, it applies to just one. If I click apply to all, it applies to all of them. Okay, now the picture corrections are basically the same as they were for the picture. You can do brightness and contrast, sharpen the picture, soften the picture. Same thing with picture color and the artistic effects. Okay, so you can still do all that. The fill option right here is the main one. The other thing I did want to talk about is this transparency piece down here. So in other words, if you want to make your background picture less obvious, less in your face because maybe it's a bright picture, you can set transparency so it's a little bit softer. Okay, so now I'm going to click close on that. And we're going to add in a new slide here because that was formatting backgrounds. We're going to add in a new slide. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is what's called the Format Painter. I think I talked about this in one of the previous chapters, but I do want to go over it one more time. So let's say I have this down and I'm going to bold it, italicize it, underline it. I'm going to change the font color to, oh, I don't know, there. Um, did a bunch of stuff there. I did 3 things. Let me change the font. I'm going to change the font to. So it took me probably about a minute or so to put all those things together. All right, all the formatting, because I bolded it, I italicized it, I underlined it, changed the font color, changed the font type, and changed the font size. So that takes time, and if I had to do that to every slide, it would take time. What you can do is, let's see if I go new slide again, and we're going to do, just put the word Wildcats in here. What you can do is, go back to slide 3, put my insertion point anywhere on this line, anywhere I want. And I go up to the home ribbon under clipboard, you'll see the little paintbrush. This is called the format painter. If I double click that, my arrow now becomes an I-beam with a paintbrush. So now I go to slide 4, I come across, I select the word and let it go, and it automatically takes on all of that formatting where I selected that from. You could do this with pictures, you can do this with shapes. All you have to do is select the picture or shape, double click the format painter button, and then go ahead and click on the new image or shape to format that. To get out of the format painter, you either go back and just single click it, or you hit your escape key. Either way will work, and then you are back to normal. So that is the format painter. We're getting down to the nitty gritty here, just a couple more things. Shapes are pretty easy, excuse me. If you insert shapes, that's one way, or on the home ribbon, there is a shapes option also. So you can either go to the insert ribbon or the home ribbon to get your shapes options. I'm just going to do a simple circle here. And there's my shape. Once that's put in there, I can click the Drawing Tools Format tab that shows up. It's a contextual tab. And you can fill it to your heart's content. You can put a picture in the middle of it if you want, right there. If I decide to put a picture in it, I can put this, I don't know, put this lady with the blonde wig in there right in the middle of it as a fill effect if I wanted to do that. You can put a gradient into it. You can put a texture into it. So basically whatever you can do with a picture, you can do with a shape. One obvious change is in a shape you can put in a picture. All right. You can change the outline of it. So in other words, the very outline, I'm going to make it 6 point. You can see how thick it is now, and you can put effects on it just like you can a picture. Okay, same type deal. The other thing you can do with a shape, which is kind of cool, and I think I'm just going to put put a color into it, is if you just select it and start typing, you can actually put text in there. And then once text is in there, you can format it like a normal text box. So in other words, I can do that. I can go on my home screen, my home ribbon, and change it. So basically, just by having that selected and starting to type, you can go ahead and put text in any shape you want. Okay, hopefully that's pretty clear. Again, that might be review for some people, but for others it might not be. So, all right, that basically takes care of shapes. Shapes are pretty easy, like I said. The other portion of shapes, you do have shape styles, kind of like the picture styles. If you click down, you can see the different styles you have that are already preset for you. So you can just do a empty fill or a white fill with the background there, or you can do whatever you want. Okay, that is under Drawing Tools, Format, Contextual tab, Shape Styles. Then again, you have the shape fill, shape outline, shape effects, all that stuff. All right, so we're getting there. We're almost done. I think we got 2 more things to cover. Next one is word art. Again, most of you guys know how to do this, but some people didn't know where word art was in 2010. So if you click Insert and you go over to the word art button, which is over center right, click word art, and let's say I'm just going to choose this one, and it'll ask you to put your text in there. So I'm just going to put the word text. Oops. Make sure you delete what's in there, and we'll just put the word test, which is fine. All right, so once that's in there, now how do you change things? What do you do? Okay, let's say I wanted to change that. You can change the word art styles. Like I said, you can change it to whatever you want once it's in there. Then you can do the options of what you used to be able to do in word art, which a lot of people thought was lost, but it's not. You just have to go to the right and select that little glowing A. All right, you can put a shadow to it, you can do a little reflection, you can put a glow to it, beveled edge again, rotation, and here's the one most people thought was lost, is the transformation one. It is not lost, it is still there. So in other words, if I wanted to do that, I can stretch it out a little bit. And the one thing about word art is you're going to have your sizing handles, you're going to have your rotation circle, that green circle is the rotation one, and then for some of the word art styles, when you transform it, you may also get a diamond. See this little pink diamond right here? If I click and hold on that, I can change how far it's arced. So maybe I don't want it that far, or maybe I want it farther. All right, it depends on what you want. Again, that's something for you guys to play around with a little bit. Okay, and that's word art in a nutshell. Word art's pretty easy these days. Okay, you can try and change the color a little bit if you want. Some of those presets are hard to change colors on. All right, but you guys can play around with that. But that is where word art is. It's under word art styles. Once you insert word art from the insert ribbon, then this contextual tab will show up and you guys can play around with it. All right. Last thing I'm going to talk about here is printing. Printing, I think, again, I talked about once, but I'm going to go over it again real quick. If I click on File and I click on Print, all right, when it comes up, it is automatically set to print full page slides. You don't want to do this. I don't care what class you're in. Most teachers are not going to want you to print full page slide because it's a waste of paper. Most teachers can grade what they need to grade by doing printing in what's called slide sorter view. All right, so what you're going to want to do is you have your print button, you have your printer name, we all know that. You can choose what slides you want to print. Let's say if you have a 20 slide presentation, maybe you just want to print 1, 3, 6, and 7. All right, you can just put those numbers in there. Now, here's the next one you want, where it says full page slides right now. If you click that, it'll give you an option to print what I call slide sorter view. Okay, you have 1 slide, 2 slides. The 3 slides one is kind of nice because on the left-hand side of the page, it prints your thumbnails of the slides, and on the right-hand page, or right-hand side of the page, it gives you lines. All right, so that's kind of nice. And then you have 4, 6, and 9. 9 is the most you can fit on one page, and obviously 1 is the least amount. All right, and then you can print the notes page or outline view. Outline view basically just prints all the text in an outline. Okay, but that is printing. Make sure you know how to do this because you never know. I may ask you to print out your test this time just to see if you are paying attention. So please, please, please make sure you know how to print in slide sorter view or however many slides I ask for. All right, and that's pretty much it on printing. I'm just going to click my home tab, and that's pretty much it for this video demonstration. Again, I think a lot of this is review for most of you. For some of you it may be new, but I think this is a chapter where you can play around a little bit. You can kind of figure out the picture effects, the word art effects, play around with backgrounds a little bit, okay? All that fun stuff. As always, if you have any questions as you're working on stuff, please, please ask me, or you can email me. If you don't feel comfortable raising your hand and drawing attention to yourself, that's fine. Just go ahead and email me. I have my email on all day, so I will get it pretty quick here. All right, and again, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the demonstration, and we'll talk soon.